outside and talk to me? No. I'll step in. If you want to talk to my
Brady material is evidence that either is inculpatory or exculpatory, either can help convict or help exonerate.
FBI raid Providence. They just took him out.
Hey, man. Are you John?
Yep.
Yo, what's up? You live?
Yes.
There we go.
What do you want to tell us?
Real quick.
What's that?
Make me famous. Why not?
What happened?
TikTok is back online, and that is what's trending in true crime this morning. TikTok welcoming back American users on Sunday after going dark for less than 24 hours. Users first saw this message when they opened up the app on Saturday night. Look at this. It said, sorry, TikTok isn't available right now. A law banning TikTok has been enacted in the U.S. Unfortunately, that means you can't use TikTok for now. We are fortunate that President Trump has indicated that he will work with us on a solution to reinstate TikTok once he takes office. Well, then, a little more than 12 hours later, users saw a different message. This one, it said, thanks for patience and support. As a result of President Trump's efforts, TikTok is back in the U.S. President Donald Trump signing on Monday an executive action that delays enforcement of the law for 75 days. The CEO of TikTok, by the way, was at the president's inauguration on Monday. And so this morning we're asking, is TikTok's legal battle all but won? Let me bring in our guests now. Still with me, attorneys Melba Pearson and Randolph Rice, and want to welcome in entertainment journalist Shishi Yang. Shishi, good morning. I want to start with you, please. What do you think about this battle? Is it almost over for TikTok?
Good morning, Julie. What a PR stunt we saw over the weekend. Let's just call it for what it is. This is a political battle masked as a tech battle between China and the U.S. And you and I, along with 170 million Americans, we're just caught in the middle. I'm talking people who have spent the last 5 years building communities, building small business, making a living off of TikTok. And now it's all being taken away. So to me, I really do think that President Trump's delay by 75 days, that reflects a much bigger conversation about how much the government can dictate what we can and can't use on the internet, and whether the government can really force the sale of a private company under the guise of national security. Now, as a content creator myself, I really don't think that by banning one app or forcing joint venture of ownership of the app is going to protect our private data, because let's face it, millions of Americans are already flocking to another Chinese app called Rednote, which poses all the same risks. And in the likelihood that TikTok actually does get banned, that also increases the likelihood of all of our data being moved from the server in Culver City to China. So in my opinion, the core issue here is really about establishing more global privacy laws. Any talk about banning the app, forcing a sale is really just political theater for power and profit in this tech war.
Shishi, love your take. Randolph Rice, let me go to you, please. What do you think about this legal battle? Is it looking good for TikTok?
Well, at the end of the day, TikTok has to make a decision, because originally China said that we're not going to sell it. We're not going to give any partial ownership. And what President Trump has done is said to the Attorney General, 75 days, you do not enforce the law. Now, remember, the law is still in place. In 75 days, the law will go back into effect, and all the internet providers will start having to essentially be under the law and have penalties if they're allowed to download this app. So it's giving them more time to negotiate this 50-50 split or whatever the ownership may be. But at the end of the day, China has always said, we're not going to sell this. We're not going to have co-ownership. So I'm not sure President Trump is going to be able to convince them to make that sale. And if they can, ultimately, it'll go away in 75 days.
Randolph, appreciate it. Yeah. So the concern our lawmakers have is they want TikTok to divest from ByteDance, the parent company, because they're saying, look, they're going to be sending information and harvesting information about American users and giving it to the Chinese government, and everybody's going to be in danger. But as Shishi touched on, if there's another buyer, somebody that America trusts, you know, I don't know, maybe Elon Musk or somebody, who knows, then all is well in the world. But Shishi hit on it. Can the government, the lawmakers in America say, this is what you need to do with your business, TikTok? Melba, I want you to weigh in legally. Do you think this is a fair legal ask?
Yeah, this is a tough one because, first of all, when you actually look at the law that was passed by Congress, it was a bipartisan law, right? So we had Republican and Democratic Congress people that were both like, listen, this is a national security risk. And so we're going to pass this piece of legislation to force ByteDance to divest from TikTok. But then it does speak to a bigger issue as to government control of enterprise. And can the government consistently force people and say, I don't like who you're tied to, I don't like who your partner is, you now have to divest or face other sanctions. So there's a broader commercial aspect here. And then, of course, you look at the effect that it would have on the content creators. There are many content creators, as my colleague very rightly stated, who literally their entire living is made on doing TikTok videos and all of that. And I don't mean like funky influencers. I mean literally people with, they're doing cooking shows, they're doing different types of things to earn a legitimate income. What happens to them? And of course, our privacy as American citizens and our right to be able to choose who gets our information, what apps we want to use, etc. So, again, 75 days, I don't see any major change happening unless the incoming administration is able to get someone else to make an offer that ByteDance can't refuse, possibly from Elon Musk. We don't know. We will see.
Maybe. I know, right, Mom? Like a little Godfather reference, an offer you can't refuse. So thank you for all of that. And you touched on something really key, right? All of the influencers and TikTokers and content creators who were going, my life and my livelihood is over. Shishi, would you speak to that, please? There was true panic, wasn't there, for that small period of time?
There was absolutely true panic. Even opening some of the other social media apps, all people could talk about was how to potentially get on a VPN to mask their IP address to hopefully still get on TikTok. So the magnitude of TikTok being banned is going to impact not just the content creator economy, but so many different industries as well. And 170 million Americans, we're talking about half of the country here. So this is something that for the past 5 years, people have gone on religiously, and to think that it's all going to be taken away is devastating.
It really is, Shishi. You're right. Randolph Rice, let me go to you, please, with a legal question in all this. I know the window of time was short, but we know people have monetized TikTok. I mean, it's astounding how much money can be made by some of these influencers. Do you think anybody might be able to sue for any loss of income?
Julie, that is an amazing question. And ultimately, I'm not sure who they would sue because there's probably sovereignty for the U.S. government in taking this action. So I don't think they have any claim against them. At the end of the day, they might be just sort of left out in the cold with not having any type of content that may get lost in 75 days. So while I think it's a great idea and a great question, I don't necessarily know that there's some sort of value that they can get back from it. And ultimately, you also think about the damages matter here. The damages oftentimes in any type of civil suit is what would your damages be? Well, the shift is going to say that the shift for that damage would be go to another platform, go to a YouTube, go to Instagram, go to Facebook, and therefore you're mitigating your damages, and therefore there wouldn't be any civil suit without damages.
Oh, such good analysis. Randolph, thank you for that. We've got to leave it there for now, but we'll continue TikToking and talking about the TikTok legal battle here.